RTTV is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Make sure you protect your online privacy today at expressvpn.com/RTTV. Hey everyone, welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I'm Gus.
I'm Gavin.
I'm John.
Bye, brah.
There's a kitty.
I'm Gus, once again. How's everyone doing?
There's a kitty. There's a kitty, Gus.
There's a kitty? Oh yeah, there it is. It's looking outside. Looking for stuff to murder, no doubt.
As cats do.
Yeah. Man.
Cheers, boys.
Are we cheersing?
We cheersing?
Oh,
Cheers.
Let me open a beverage.
Let me
I have a fancy wine glass.
I don't think they're a sponsor today, but
I'm annoyed, guys. I'm super
Gus.
fucking annoyed.
Wow, how off-brand is this moment in time?
So we've talked about it before that I have to wear that CPAP when I go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If the power goes out, do you die?
No.
It's not a ventilator.
But there's parts on it that you have to replace, right? Like the mask. Every now and then you replace the tubing and whatnot. And like that stuff's covered by insurance, right? Obviously, it's a medical device. And our insurance changed at the beginning of this year, right? I'm sure you all are aware of that.
Yep,
Very much
aware.
so.
And I got a call the other day from a number I didn't recognize. So, of course, I didn't answer it. But they kept calling back. So eventually I was like, fine, I guess I got to fucking pick up this phone. So I answered the phone, and it was the company that sends me the refills, right? Like all the shit that I need, the mask and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, hey, listen, your insurance must have changed or something. We need, and now your new insurance is saying that your CPAP machine is not medically necessary, so they're not going to pay for anything. And I was like, what? And they were like, well, what you need to do, they're like, don't worry, this happens all the time. You just need to call your doctor and tell them they need to fax us a certificate of medical necessity that proves that you need this. And I was like, why do I have to? Isn't this something you all should do? They're like, no, don't worry, it happens all the time. Your doctor will know what to do. I was like, okay, I guess. So I call my doctor, and of course, guess what? My doctor's fucking busy. So
yeah, no shit. I was just about to say, he probably has some other things he's handling right now.
After like 2 or 3 days of trying to get in touch with my doctor, eventually I get in touch with his office, and I'm talking to the woman who works the desk there, the woman who answered the phone. And I'm like, hey, I'm dealing with this company. They say my insurance company doesn't want to pay for my shit anymore. They said I need a certificate of medical necessity. Can you fax that to them? And the woman at the doctor's office was like, they told you to call us? They're supposed to call us, and they sent us a form, and we just sign it and send it back to them.
Wow.
I was like, okay, well, what's your fax number? So I said, let me at least get that. That way I can call the other company. So I get my doctor's fax number, and I call back the supplier. And I'm like, hey, you all told me I needed to call my doctor and get this certificate sent to you. And the person at the supply company I talked to was like, oh, no, we never do that. We always call the doctor directly ourselves.
What the fuck?
And so I was like, well, can you fax it to them? And can you get the information you need? And they're like, well, we don't have his fax number. I was like, oh, but I have it. I have his fax number. Here it is.
Just called it.
Long story short, Gus died, and this is his ghost.
Yep.
So I give them the fax number, and they're like, okay, don't worry. Yeah, we have the form. We'll send it to your doctor, no problem. Like 4 days went by, and I thought, I'd never heard any follow-up on this. I should call back just to make sure everything's okay.
I'm getting angry right now on your behalf, Gus.
So I call back the supplier, and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to follow up. Did you all fax that document to my doctor so he could sign it and send it back to you? And they're like, oh, what? No, we didn't do that. Were we supposed to do that? I was like, yeah.
Everything is all right.
Yeah, I was like, can I do anything to help this process?
Right.
And they were like, oh, don't worry, we're going to escalate it to a supervisor. The supervisor will make sure that we fax over the document and your doctor signs it and gets it sent back. That way you can breathe when you sleep.
That's a low priority, guys. We'll get to it.
The reason I'm telling this story was I had set a reminder on my phone today to call them back and follow up, and I forgot. And just now when the podcast started, I remembered, shit, I was supposed to call them and follow up today. So for all I know, nothing still happened. It's been, I think it's been close to 2 weeks now that I've been dealing with this. So I gotta call him back tomorrow and be like, hey, did you fax a piece of paper on your desk to my doctor so he can sign it and fax it back to you? So I can get a fucking mask to breathe? Yeah, it's been great. Life's great. Everything's awesome. How are you guys?
How much time globally is wasted in circles between just like passing incorrect? It must cost like billions and billions of dollars
And
in time.
right, absolutely.
Trevor just walked in naked.
You don't get to say that unless he's going to walk on camera.
He knows the podcast is on, right?
Oh,
he held it?
absolutely. He's
with his
definitely
John
doing it
Thomas
intentionally. And then he just opened my door and just stuck his naked ass out the door. Sorry.
All I now have is this mental image because I think of Trevor as a pretty pale white boy, and his butt must just be the most white porcelain thing ever on this planet.
Like
Well,
two
luckily
close
he's-
together headlights.
Luckily he's dating, so he has someone more pale than him next to him. So he looks tan compared to me.
Do you
He's
think
actually
you
kind
could-
of like olive toned compared to
Do you
me.
think you could trap a beam of light between your asses? Like if you shone a laser and it reflected off his white ass off yours, and you could just hold the light.
Oh. Thank you for completing that thought. I didn't understand. I thought you were asking if like between your two cheeks you could grab onto light and hold on to it with
Obviously
two...
not. Obviously not, John. There's a black hole there.
There you go.
Come on, a little science
I
humor there
hate
for you.
this.
I like the science humor. Cameron made a periodic table of elements joke during a Scrum meeting today. I like
Yeah.
Wow.
We're real
That's-
nerdy.
So what have you guys not done this week?
Oh,
Well,
so much.
it's
So much I
only-
didn't do.
As I've learned today, this week means starting Sunday. So it's only been a day and a half. So
Monday,
not
starting
much.
Monday.
Why would you start the week on a Sunday?
The week starts on Sunday?
The week starts on Monday.
The week
Like-
starts on Sunday.
To be
The
fair, in
actual-
America, it
Chat,
starts
chat,
on Sunday for some reason.
Everyone in chat, tell us what day of the week does the
I
week
ag-
start on?
Hey,
speaking of which,
that's-
if
No.
you're-
On your calendar.
no,
What is the first
Pe-
day?
People should, by the way, sign up for a free account at roosterteeth.com. That way you can chat with us and you can tell us what day of the week
Okay.
chat starts in. What day of the week the calendar starts in. It starts on Monday, John. Thank you for asking.
The actual calendar, at least in the United States, it goes Sunday to Saturday.
The calendar on my computer, which I use every day, starts on Monday.
You
What
probably
is-
have a
is-
certain
is your
setting.
calendar? Yeah, is your calendar following an American calendar or some other country's calendar?
Hey, calendar, what country are you following? How the fuck do I know? I'm in the United States. I assume it's following an American
No.
calendar.
No, I think you've set it to
Sunday.
Monday, but by default on American calendars, it starts on Sunday.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, Gavin
Exactly.
is correct. I did go through the settings. And I
Sunday,
changed
Sunday,
it.
Sunday, 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 Sunday.
It's like Sunday, Monday.
Yeah. I understand that, like, when you work or go to school, like, you think of the week starting Monday because it's like, you
Because
got the
that's when it
weekend.
starts. Yeah, you're
It
right.
starts
You're
on
right. What's that key word you just said there?
I know
The
it's called the weekend.
The
I
weekend.
get that.
So
But-
Monday is when it starts.
I'm not arguing the inconsistency in the semantics of the problem, but I'm just saying that in America we start our week on Sunday. Technically
dumb.
speaking, I understand it is. Like I'm not arguing. I also think that that not using the metric system is dumb. Like I am aware of that, but I have to just abide by what the norm is in the country I have, or else I'm the crazy person on a podcast saying the week starts on a Monday.
It's
we
true.
killed-
You got it.
We killed
We
chat. Chat, y'all can calm down. We got it. We got it.
No, I want to know every
Hey, chat,
single person.
everyone just type in butts.
No, no,
Butts,
don't do that.
butts,
Jack-
butts.
Jack-
in the chat. It's over.
Jackie's losing it in chat right now, I think.
I
She's
can't
asking
keep. I
everyone to
can't
stop.
moderate.
We overloaded it.
Going cray, dude.
I have a
Alyssa in chat just said the broadcast calendar starts on Monday.
okay,
Again, that's
obviously our work
work-wise.
calendar starts on Monday.
Just saying. Just saying.
Okay, I have a disgusting thing to admit to you that I need your expressed
VPN.
Yeah.
intention. I need your expressed intention to not completely and utterly judge me on this.
Okay, but
Okay,
did this happen on a Monday or a Sunday?
This. So this is something I'm not proud of, but I don't know how to fix. The chat saying butts now, and I love it.
Just-
No, stop.
It's too late, Gus.
I can't. I want to give another example of a time where I broke someone's social media, but I don't want to do it because I will break their social media again. So, I have a dark secret sitting
Ooh.
in a bag at the
Ooh.
bottom of my pantry.
A secret in a bag.
Should we guess what it is? Should we take?
I know
You
what
want
it
to
is.
guess what it is? You
I know what
each
it
get-
is.
Gus knows what it is?
Yeah.
How
I
big is the
tell you.
bag?
Did I tell you?
No, I can totally. A bag in the bottom of your pantry is only one thing it can be.
It's replacement CPAP parts.
I'm just hoarding them. La, 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 la.
It's the fax machine from Gus's doctor's office.
What do you think it is?
If I had to guess, knowing you, John, and saying it's like a dark secret and it's in your pantry, I'm gonna guess it's some type of like cheat food, like something really sweet or unhealthy.
No, I'm very vocal about what cheat foods I have, and they come out on Sunday at the beginning of the week,
The
and
end of
then
the
they
week.
go away.
It's rotting potatoes.
No, it is not food.
Oh, it's not food.
Mm.
What do you think, Gavin?
What you doing, Gavin?
My headphones are running out of batteries, and I'm just gonna
Cording
write them
up.
out.
Okay.
When you stop hearing us, you're done the podcast.
I like chat's guessing. You got like shiny shoes,
Sourdough starter.
sourdough starter. It is not food based. Can anybody guess anything that's not food? That could
I
be-
think it's your old haircut.
Gavin Free guessed it.
What?
No.
So when I
Wait,
went,
what? Are you shitting me?
Things in the world. You can't
Are you serious? You're not serious. You having a laugh? Are you messing with me?
No.
so
My mind is blown.
so
Remember, no judgment. No judgment.
no judgment. I
Of course not.
asked. When I went to Robert, my hairstylist, to get
What?
it cut.
How was I right?
I had a lot of hair. And he cut it all off, and it just made this mound. And he thought it'd be funny if he bagged it up and then sent me home with my bag of hair. And because of the world that we live and work in, I was like, there's at least a hint of a chance I could think of something to do with it that is disgusting and terrible for our company. The problem is I never came up with anything. I held on to it. And not only have I held on to it since I got the haircut, I've moved since then.
Oh,
It
you
made
kept
it
it.
through a move and came with me from my previous apartment to my new apartment where it found a new home in my pantry.
Okay. So you know what you have to do with it.
What do I have to do with it?
Put it back
You
on.
have to auction it off for extra life. You can auction off John's old haircut.
I liked Gavin's.
What does
did you
Gavin
say?
want to do?
What did you say?
He
Gavin?
said put it back on.
I mean, Gavin has done something similar. That was with Jeff and Griffin, right? You guys you shaved your head, Gavin, and then
And they just moved it. Chia
They
petted it to
wore
the
it.
top.
Put my hair on Jeff's chin where his beard used to be, and I wore his beard on my head, and then Griffin wore our pubes as armpit hair.
armpit hair, right? Yeah. So
Could-
just do that.
Could I auction it?
Yeah,
Mm.
Extra Life. I need to. Can you buy lottery tickets online? Because I need to.
I don't think so.
I
The
gotta
guess
get on
that you
something.
just
I gotta.
made?
It blew my mind that I was right. Honestly, I was to be honest, 80% trying to find a cable so I could plug my headphones in, and 20% paying attention. So I'm blown away that I got that.
Your crazy suggestions are bound to pay off once in a while.
we did it. How many
All we need
episodes?
is 20% of your brain to be able to predict the future
But the
or
thing
to
is,
be able to read other minds.
As someone who has had long hair and then got it cut, it's a significant moment. Kind of only to you and no one else, but I can see why you would keep it in a way.
Yeah, I also have I never posted it for some reason, but I took a video of Robert making the first big cut. Like he just went right off and took off like,
Scary, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I'm 100% happy with the haircut I got, and I have no intention of ever growing my hair out again. It's just too wonderful having it short again. But I have a bag of hair. I don't know if hair rots.
Should we get maybe some suggestions from the community on what you should do with that hair?
A lot of
Like,
people say make a wig, but it's not long enough for a wig.
It's also like you need other tools to make a wig. You can't
Do you
just
make-
like
Make a
do it with
toupee.
hair.
Make a toupee. Make a.
Yeah.
It's probably long enough for a. What's the lower no region one?
Merkin?
Merkin.
You know what you should do, John? You should wear it while you do Good Morning from Hell, so there will be hell toupee.
But it's an audio podcast.
Do you not get my joke?
I did.
I mean, that's calling it a joke is being really generous.
It's also the worst. I think the worst setup I've ever had to any pun because I was focusing too hard on it.
Oh, I do like someone said to make a bunch of little tiny John dolls.
No, then people can use those as voodoo dolls then, can't they? Because it's got like your actual hair.
Yeah, if you believe in that stupid shit.
Whoa!
Yikes.
Well, so I guess no voodoo dolls for John then.
No
So
voodoo
does it
dolls for
go
me.
brittle over time as it gets less moisture in it, or is there no moisture in hair in the first place?
I don't know. I haven't opened the bag since then. It's like
How long ago was that?
over a year. Because I colored it for.
Go get it. Go get it.
Go get it.
Go get it.
Oh yeah, get the bag.
Yeah, you
open
should
it up.
absolutely get it.
Smell
Okay.
it. Let's see if it smells bad.
I'll go get it. But first, there's a reveal that has to happen, which is my wonderful lower region.
It's still working from home uniform.
So, this is what we're
Yeah.
working with.
He should go and huff the bag.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can find out if it's rotting or not.
I tell you what, though, I bet it's really flammable.
It's
At
like
this
all
point.
dried out.
Yeah.
I'm
Gross,
glad
dude.
that. See, things like this make me glad that we're doing the podcast from home, because if we were on the set, we'd be like, oh, well, there's going to be no resolution on it. Now he's at home. We can tell him, go get the fucking hair and bring it out here. We're going to
true.
do something with it.
Show and
Oh,
tell.
there it is.
Oh my god.
Oh, I was picturing a clear bag.
Me too.
No.
So yeah,
It's actually quite like there's a that's hair. That's like hair.
Get a hand in. Let's see it.
It's stapled shut. Do I unseal it?
well, it's
Yeah.
not like it's airtight. It's just staples.
I don't know if I want to do this game anymore.
That's how actually they keep the COVID samples in it. They keep it in a stapled bag so it doesn't escape.
You know,
Oh, right.
staples do stop viruses from spreading.
People in
It's
chat are
science.
pointing out something I forgot, that John can't smell. So we're not going to know if it stinks or not.
It's just a
But
bag of hair.
Show
I don't want to touch it.
the camera. Oh, it's just like a black void.
Oh, damn! It looks like a dead animal. It looks like a bird.
It looks like the top of a human head that you have inside of that bag.
Oh god.
And there you are.
There's actually a lot of gray. I'm surprised.
Is it
Yeah.
mold or is it gray?
No, it's gray hairs.
I mean, is there anything to rot in a human hair though? Like, when you dig up a corpse, does it have hair on it?
Well, did he
I
wash
think that
your
to-
hair before?
What?
Like, did he wash your hair before cutting
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it's clean.
Oh, so it's clean hair. It's not like it's dirty hair.
No, it's it actually doesn't seem to have like. It looks like wig hair. Like
So-
it's very just.
Is it soft?
It even feels just like hair. It's not super soft. Like it's not
I
like
looked at-
conditioned hair, but
I looked it up. Human hair can endure for several years, often 2 years before decomposing.
Wow.
It's been at least a year, right, John?
Yeah, so
yeah,
you got
it
time.
was I cut it for RTX, so it was last June.
Summer.
So does that
Gotcha.
mean if you have hair that's longer than 2 years old, it starts to rot on your head?
I think it's still technically alive because it's attached to you.
It's still getting
well,
nutrients.
Yeah.
What's
not
alive about it though?
Well, it's attached to you, so it's still getting nutrients, like John said.
Like whatever vitamins and blood flow that goes to hair and gives it whatever nutrients it needs. Like,
Yeah, but that's just the root, surely. The tips are just
Oh,
they're
yeah,
done.
but that's just
Yeah,
the root, surely.
well-
once hair is at the skin surface, the cells within the strand of the hair aren't alive anymore. The hair you see on every part of your body contains dead cells.
Oh, gross.
yeah, and I guess that makes sense because that's why you have to cut off the dead hair in order to like let your hair actually grow out better. Like if you just let your hair grow, it actually won't grow as well as if you did maintenance cuts on it.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Being stuck at home these days, you probably don't think much about internet privacy on your own home network. You just fire up incognito mode on your browser and no one can see what you're doing, right? Wrong. Even in incognito mode, your online activity can still be traced. Even if you clear your browsing history, your internet service provider can still see every single website you've ever visited. That's why even when at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN makes sure that ISPs can't see what sites you visit. Instead, your internet connection is rerouted through ExpressVPN secure servers. Each ExpressVPN server has an IP address that's shared among thousands of users. That means everything you do is anonymized and can't be traced back to you. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your data with best-in-class encryption, so your information is always protected. Use the internet with confidence from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. ExpressVPN has you covered on every device. You simply tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is the fastest, most trusted VPN on the market. It's rated #1 by CNET, Wired, The Verge, and countless more. So protect your online activity today with the VPN that I trust to secure my privacy. Visit our special link at expressvpn.com/rooster. You can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/rooster. expressvpn.com/rooster to learn more.
I have a question for you guys. Speaking of hair, y'all are dating women or married to women. Do any of your significant others get waxed in their nether regions typically?
I don't want to speak on behalf of my significant other.
I can text her right now and ask.
Because I'm just wondering what people are doing who typically get waxed.
Is Trevor not waxing you?
No. Would you trust Trevor to wax you?
Steady hand?
That sounds like a video. That sounds like a video. Yeah.
I'll
Little
just film my
back crack.
face.
I just text her and asked her if she waxes her nethers.
Is that what you wrote? Do you
Yeah.
wax your nethers?
Yeah. She's used to me just saying weird shit at this point. She
Do you
understands
prefer-
how silly my job is.
Do you prefer waxing to shaving, Barbara?
For my hoo-hoos, yes. Because it's easier to maintain and the grow back is a lot nicer than shaving.
Who's? Plural?
Hoo-hoo.
Oh, you said
She
who-hoos.
pluralized it.
Well, maybe I consider my vagina a hoo and my butt a hoo. So it's the hoo-hoos.
So you got Whoville going on down there?
Yeah.
Can you get them done in like one strip?
Nope.
Just go all the way around.
Nope. But home waxing is dangerous, and I don't know if I would almost rather cut my hair myself than wax myself.
What's dangerous about it? I'm going to plead ignorance.
It's just the using hot wax yourself is dangerous, and you could apply it wrong and hurt yourself. I just wouldn't trust myself with something like that, especially something with heat. I feel like that gets real dangerous.
I tried to. I mean, I'm looking at the reality of the situation right now and how long we're going to be in this circumstance, and I was like, I'm going to want a haircut soon. Luckily, I got my haircut right before we went into quarantine.
So did I.
And
I did not.
Yes, you did not.
November for me.
It's still you can see on this side, it's still pretty short. It hasn't really grown out a ton.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna want to get it cut before we're able to go get it cut. And so I asked my girlfriend if she would feel comfortable at least trimming up my undercut. And she was like, no. She said she did it once for a friend eons ago and he got upset at her. So I don't know what that means. But
Can't you just sign a waiver that you just absolutely will not get upset?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I think I'm going to let mine grow out. I think I got my last haircut right at the beginning of March. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes.
How often do you typically get haircuts?
I used to go the first Monday of every month. So I would try to go monthly to keep it pretty short.
Gotcha.
Let me ask you a question, Gus, because I've asked Chris this question. I was appalled at the answer. Do you have someone that you go to regularly for your haircut?
I have a barber shop that I go to. I don't ever request anyone in particular because I've always been happy with all the different barbers who work there and the work that they do.
What about you, Gav?
Haircutting?
Yeah, do you have a person you go to, even at a location, or do you just go to a location or any location whatsoever?
Yeah, I have a person, but I get haircuts so rarely that it's not really a regular thing. I've maybe seen them 4 times ever.
Right, but when you go to the same person.
Yeah.
Why do you go to the same person?
Because I don't have to describe what I want again, because we've already been through that together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a good point.
And they remember, even though you go so rarely?
Yeah, he remembers.
So, does anyone else? Am I the only one who has this irrational fear? There's one barber at the shop I go to who I really like. I think he does an excellent job, but he's really fast, and I get a scissor cut typically. And whenever he's like really going to town with the scissors, cutting my hair, in the back of my mind, I'm always wondering like, what if he missed and just got like a little bit of my ear? And so I'm always like in my own head, like, what if he just lopped off a little bit of ear right now? And I get like really tense.
Honestly,
and
like,
about it.
have you ever used hair cutting scissors? They are
No.
sharp as shit. I bet it would just snip the top of your ear off.
Ugh.
Oh,
See,
absolutely.
that's not making me feel any better. And then, to make matters worse, I've got like some birthmarks that stick up a little bit out of the skin, and I've got one on my neck back here. You can't see it.
Oh,
They
they'll
know
bleed like
what
a
they're
pig.
doing.
And when they give the shave on the back, I'm like, they lather it up with the shaving cream, and in my mind, I'm like, can he see that birthmark? Does he know that it's back there? Is he just gonna like with a straight razor just like shear it right off? And so I like in my own head, I worry about these things, and I end up being really tense the whole time I'm getting a haircut. And then he's done. I've never been cut; nothing's ever happened. But it's just like in my mind, I'm always worried about it.
Do you not have faith though? Like these people know what they're doing. They're professionals. They've done this a billion times. Why?
Yeah,
right,
like,
But that's
Sure.
the thing, right? They've done it a billion times. So what if they lose concentration for just a second? Like they're on autopilot and not paying
guys,
attention.
I
in the
don't want to
moment.
say this in a mean way, but I don't think anyone's gonna miss your ears. Like I feel like
Whoa.
I mean, like
I would.
you have substantial ears. Like
Oh.
You need the top of your ears.
I know, but I'm saying like they're visible. You're not gonna accidentally.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant nobody was gonna like be sad that they were gone.
Oh,
I thought that was
no,
you. I'm
no,
like,
No one
I-
is going to miss.
physically.
Is
Yeah.
going to not notice your ears.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay,
a
that's
different
true.
kind of miss.
I forget. I guess I just don't notice it about him, but I forget that a lot of people consider Jeff having large ears. I
Oh,
just
they're
don't.
big.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't notice it, and it wasn't until we did a roast of you guys on the subreddit roast when we made a video out of it, and so we did the follow up with Jeff, and a good amount of the jokes were based around his ears, and it wasn't until people like fresh eyes saw his ears that I forgot. Oh yeah, people think Jeff has big ears.
Oh yeah.
I know. I don't even think about it.
You just get
Honestly,
used to them.
there's not a lot of people who we work with who I think of having like substantially big body parts.
Yeah, what kind of big body parts?
Like obviously Gavin has like the nose, and that's like a whole joke with the audience and stuff like that. But like his
Wait,
nose
what?
really isn't. His nose really isn't that big. Like there's nobody who we work with where I was like, oh yeah, that person has a really big nose or really big ears or whatever it is. Like I don't know.
What
Maybe
do
it's
you
because
think?
I'm
Like,
used to you guys.
I think a lot of the people that we work with, especially on-camera people, have big heads, though.
Oh.
Just
Would you not agree?
large skulls.
I think so. Well, I have a big head. I'll admit it.
I have a
but I
big
feel
head.
like a lot of the people.
Bernie's head is gigantic.
Yeah, Bernie is the king of big heads.
Did we ever do the head measurement thing
We
with you and
did.
Bernie?
Yeah, we did. Who else? Someone else was there. I think we had a guest on at the time. Markiplier was on at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you might not have been there.
Yeah, Gavin
Yeah,
wasn't
that
there.
wasn't there.
Yeah, Gavin
What?
was
So what'd you do? You just measured the head.
there. Yeah, we had a flexible tape measure, and we all measured around.
Yeah. See that? I don't think that's accurate enough. I think we need like a water displacement test.
Oh, so you're talking about volume. You're not talking about
volume.
like,
Well, I mean, it's the same thing.
Gavin.
Your head's a 3D object, Gus.
Right, but we're not talking about circumference. You're talking about volume.
But volume would include the top
It's
part
the
of your head.
same. It's the same.
No, it's not. 'cause
no,
you're
no,
asking
no,
for the
it's not.
circumference.
Right, yeah.
Volume would then displace depending on the shape of the top of your head as well.
Right.
So if you had a more curved head,
So
you'd
you're
have less
saying a
volume.
bigger? Are you saying a bigger head could displace less water?
If it's bigger here but flatter down up top, or if it comes to a point,
What are you talking about?
What kind of
There's
fucking
different
heads do you
It's
see?
like the difference
there's
between,
different
like,
shapes of heads.
right
You
here,
can't tell because
right
you can't
here,
tell because everyone has
bottom part
hair.
right there would be the same circumference, but if the head was like that, like a trapezoid, that's more volume.
But they would also have a
Right,
bigger
like-
head.
Think about Peyton Manning.
No,
Peyton Manning obviously has a more.
don't have to have a bigger circumference around this area.
Peyton Manning has more volume to his head than any other human being in the world, but his head might be the same circumference as mine.
So
It just-
why are we
it's
only
taller.
measuring this and not this?
Because how do you do
What
that
the
with the
fuck?
fucking
So you
tape
just-
What the
measure?
fuck are
You
we
just want a
talking
whole head difference, a whole head volume.
Yeah, he's talking about a head. Like if you took the head off the neck, it's a spherical object. That's what you're talking about, right, Gavin?
But that doesn't mean that it's going to have that just because it's got more volume, it's going to have a wider circumference around this portion of your head.
I thought we're talking about displacing water.
I'm not denying that maybe someone with a wider head could have a smaller volume of head. But why do we care about that and not the volume of the head?
Okay.
Because no one's ever asked, what's the volume of your head? That's why. Normally it's like, what's your hat size? What's the size of your head going this way? It's not, what's the fucking volume of your head? That's a worthless measurement.
In the chat, right next to each other, were two comments. One that said, Gav is wrong, and the next one that said, Gav is right.
Welcome to the internet.
The duality of man.
Sunday,
Monday.
To answer chat as well, no, the Jeff one has not come out yet. Just to give you not missed it.
Oh yeah, the roast.
But if you want to do your homework, go check out the Gus roast one. It was fun.
I do love the second I brought up how nobody at Rooster Teeth has anything like substantially big. Everyone in the chat was like, "R.I.P. Trevor." I was like, "Oh yeah, he does work at Rooster Teeth."
Oh, poor boy.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is sponsored by Allspice Pomade, Allspice Putty, and Allspice Styling Gel. Hair, it's one of, if not the first thing people notice about you, and your hair can say a lot about you, and with Allspice Pomade, you can make sure that it's saying the right thing. Tried out Allspice Pomade. It seems to work best and deliver a natural look to my hair. It's clean, not heavy, and you can barely even tell that product in my hair, right? It's the power of Allspice. And Allspice Pomade with medium hold gives your hair a clean cut, matte finish. It says things like, hey, I'm late for a very important podcast that delivers comedy to the Rooster Teeth audience, but I still look good while doing it. Like Allspice Pomade, it's aluminum free, which matters a lot to me. It has a fresh scent and has medium hold that can work great all day. Allspice Hair Pomade, great hair always wins. Man, I started watching the other day. I went back and I wanted to rewatch Alien, and I saw it was available to stream, so I rewatched it.
There was Alien Day this last week, wasn't there?
Was there?
Yeah, Alien Day happened this last week.
Maybe that's why it was in my head or something, because I looked it up and I sought it out, and I was able to stream it.
What, you forgotten about it?
I just hadn't seen it. I don't think I'd watched Alien in probably 20 years. And
you shitting me? Did you watch it in like super freaking nice high def?
Yeah, I did. But it was only 1080, so it wasn't like a 4K or anything. But it's amazing how that movie, I think, came out in 1977, and it's amazing how, for the most part, like using all physical and practical effects and the aesthetic they leaned into, for the most part, holds up. Like, you wouldn't look at it and be like, oh, that looks so stupid. I mean, there's some of the computer stuff doesn't look great, but most of the sets, most everything, you're like, oh, I mean, I could conceivably see that happening. I could see a spaceship looking like that for the most part.
A lot of movies like that kept their premise simple and even like the location simple. It actually is going to hold up better than more complex projects.
Mm-hmm. I really like that movie. It's such a strange, I'm not sure if it was like a more common thing at the time, but it's a very conversational movie, like especially at the beginning when they're all alive and they're all just like talking over each other and they're not really saying anything of importance, but it's just like, it gives such a great instant atmosphere to the film. It's like a lot of these people are paid more than others, and there's like internal bitching, and then the alien happens. It's like, oh shit, and it just becomes a different movie. But I really like almost everything about that film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it so long. Like, I don't remember anything that you're talking about.
You should rewatch it. It was I streamed it on HBO. So if you have HBO, you can stream it without paying anything.
I will do that this weekend. Maybe.
It's crazy if you look at the IMDb credits of the writer Dan O'Bannon. His career has been just basically defined by Alien movies and spin-offs and video games and that kind of thing. I mean, it's basically what he's done. So like that's what he did. He made the Alien movie. That was like his third project ever on his IMDb profile, and the other two were like one's in some sort of movie called Dark Star, never heard of it, and a short.
Oh, you haven't heard
Dark Star? Yeah.
Y'all have none of you seen Dark Star?
I've seen it, but I've heard of it.
That's a John Carpenter film.
You should watch it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after you see it. But
I feel like we should do for like the RT podcast some type of like movie homework or like film of the week where we all watch a certain film and we could talk about it on the podcast.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Can I give a suggestion right now?
Dark Star.
Aliens.
No, I mean something brand new that just came out that I cannot recommend more. End of sentence. Middleditch and Schwartz put out their series of the 3 improv shows that they filmed and put out, and it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Where do you watch it?
It's just Middleditch and Schwartz. It's their name, and it's a short series of hour-long comedy specials that were part of their tour where they go out and do improv shows, and it's just 3 of their improv shows. It's on Netflix, and their minds work at a pace that I didn't think people could function at. It's insane.
There's like super quick way at everything off the top of the head.
They start off the show asking the audience a question about an event or something, and then they spend maybe about a minute or two just asking some very generic questions about it to build the atmosphere a little bit. And then they create a 50-minute long comedy special that I think a lot of improv performance, it's funny coming from me, can be associated with a lot of cringe or dead time where you're waiting for the joke to happen or hoping for them to find a joke. They don't give you time to cringe or worry about a joke. They immediately start making some of the funniest jokes ever that were not planned, and they maintain it for 3 whole specials. It's nuts.
I'm seeing a lot of people in chat agree with you. They said it's like super, super good.
Like it's hard. It's unless like you kind of are looking for it. There are moments. I was watching by myself, and there's these moments where they respond with a line back to each other. And I just want to like turn everybody and be like, hey, there was no time between breaths of him saying that line and then he responded with something that was a spot on, funny ass joke that should have been written, but it was fucking hilarious. Like that's how they obviously have, like, they've been doing this for forever. They have a chemistry that you cannot and so that's what they can do. But it's so funny.
Who do you think you have the best commentary? Why am I saying commentary? Chemistry with in the company.
Is that
a question for the group?
For the group.
I think with me, it's probably Jeff, just from years of having known each other. If I had to pick one person.
John, what about you?
That's a hard question.
I feel like I'm trying to think for you. I feel like you and Chris is always like funny.
My instincts goes to Chris. Blaine and I do pretty well together as well, but Chris and we work together pretty well and have a pretty good chemistry on stuff.
I feel like Gavin, I feel like you and I have pretty good chemistry. And I think part of that is because you always laugh at my really, really bad jokes. And it makes me feel funnier.
You make me giggle.
Yeah. I feel like you and I, and we also go way back. So I feel like we have a lot like of history in terms of that.
Yeah, that was a conversation I had with Jeff a while back. And I can't remember what the conversation was totally about, but he talked about one of the reasons why Achievement Hunter has done so well and continues to do so well is the chemistry you guys have and created by, like, especially in the early days, you guys, hung out a lot and did a lot of stuff off camera. I mean, you and Jeff lived together and that kind of thing for a while, Gav.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, you lived with Jack for a little bit and you guys, and even when I came and moved here, we went out and did drinks a lot more often than we do now, but like playing video games with each other off camera. And that's what, like, why Achievement Hunter does so well is the chemistry is palpable.
Yeah, they also had time to like develop that over a couple of years too, as you were saying. Like,
oh, that's the thing. Like, you guys have been doing this for how long? How long is Achievement Hunter? What is it? 11 years now? 10, 11 years?
2008.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it's especially around the time I lived with Jeff, I had probably had the best chemistry with. I said commentary again.
Commentary.
I had the best chemistry with Jeff while I lived with him, I would say.
What about now?
Then obviously we got Michael, and I would say Fiona too as a new addition, especially if it's like a shitty low budget hop into a video game situation.
The TTT stuff that you and Fiona do is hilarious.
I watched you and Fiona in Animal Crossing when she came to look at your town, Gavin. And I laughed so hard when she was in your house and you guys went to the corner. You had just a floating DIY.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to do with it because usually you could like store shit. You can't store
if you
DIY
learn,
that you've learned already.
Or just sell it then.
You can sell it.
Why do you still have it?
Well, because I was in the middle of like dumping a bunch of stuff, and I was like, just freaking drop that. That's all I could do with it. And then it stayed there for weeks.
And yes, I have great chemistry with Trevor. Thank you, chat, for pointing out the fact that I didn't say my boyfriend. Of course.
Well,
I mean,
you don't collaborate a lot, right? Like you're not
No,
in
but
the same project a lot.
we actually have been like trying to think of more ideas for us to do, since obviously we're working from home, and like we're thinking about doing some stuff with him in our videos and vice versa. Like I did some stuff for Ready Set Show with him, which was really fun. I got to put makeup on his face using food products only. And he's fine, by the way. He got a really bad reaction on his face, but it went away within like an hour. Also, I don't know why, but like when we used to do On the Spot, there's a lot of different combinations of people who you didn't typically get to work with or do comedy with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said Jeremy and I had really good chemistry, even though like I don't think he and I have been in anything else together other than like an episode of Always Open.
Jeremy's such a good all-rounder, though. I feel like anyone you could walk off the street and have a good time with Jeremy.
he's a yes
camera.
hander to an nth degree.
He's a professional.
So,
Absolutely.
speaking of working with people you don't necessarily work with, Last Laugh episode 2 came out today, and I watched that this morning, and it just reinforces to me what a psychotic weirdo Chris Damaris is.
Yeah.
I was in that room when we were filming that. Obviously, I was on the show, but just watching him do those bits, just a few feet away from me, I remember I was just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what is his goal here? He's a weirdo.
I think one of the things I've learned after having worked in the same office, being an office mate with Chris, is I've learned that there is a degree of what you see on Chris on camera that is him doing things on purpose, having a bit set that he's going to do, and pushing that bit to a far degree. And then there is a portion of it that's just natural Chris oddity. And that line is so gradiented out. I can't tell where it ends and begins.
There is an RTAA that came out today. I think it's site exclusive still. I think it'll be public next week. But it was the story Chris told about when we were at Jordan and Holly's wedding, and he was drinking and then went home. And apparently in the middle of the night, unbeknownst to him, he woke up and peed on the floor.
Someone peed on the floor.
Someone peed on the floor. And every single comment in the video is just Chris ... Every comment is just like, come on, dude.
I love the visual that they did in that RTAA for him Shawshanking it out. It wasn't what I intended, but I felt like it was a better visual gag for the way that they drew it, as opposed to what I meant. And I'm sure it was a conscious choice to do it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
He's genuinely a comedically intelligent person. Like he knows how to write and create funny, but then that is just amplified by his lack of ability of acting like a normal human.
Yeah, we just put out hard mode. Guess Who? I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah, I did.
The one where it's like all us.
Yeah, it's all staff members and people you'd see in Funhouse and Shame Hunter and Rooster Teeth, and we had to cut out so many moments of Chris just trying to think of a question to ask.
Oh God,
it's just infuriating.
So yeah. Speaking of which, you were talking, John. I think you were saying how like Chris sometimes doesn't know how to act like a human being. We filmed something earlier today, which I think I inadvertently kind of fucked up because I don't know how to be a human being. People were like, we don't know what Gus is trying to do. We don't understand.
I mean, you can say what it was.
We did a hard mode for faking it. And
the Jackbox Party Pack game.
Yeah. Anytime there was a game where you had to make a face in reaction to something, I would make a face that would be like, oh, Gus is obviously faking. Then it'd be like, oh, no, he wasn't. He just doesn't know how to make a face like a normal human being would.
So you don't know emotions and things?
I don't know human emotion.
Or your reaction would be the opposite of what a typical reaction would be. So it'd be like, what's your face if you saw like an old friend? Yours is like, But you
Because
weren't
that's what
lying.
Gus would do. If
Right.
Gus saw one of his old friends walking towards him, he would probably cross the street to avoid.
It made it an interesting game, to say the least.
Yeah, so I think everyone else in that video was frustrated. I'm curious to see what it looks like when the edit finally comes out.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one, I think.
All right, Gus, what would you do if Esther was bringing you a hot dog, but she dropped it right before she gave it to you?
That's
Is that you opening your mouth at a perfect angle that the hot dog might be able to slip in?
no.
Oh, speaking of hot dogs, I'm going crazy here. You know, I feel like this quarantine, this lockdown has been going on for so long. I think I'm gonna eat meat again soon. It's like I just need to do something different to mix up my life, something to change it, because I've officially passed the 6-month mark, and I'm going to the doctor in a couple of days, and I'm curious to see what a plant-based diet did for all my blood work. So once I get the blood work done, then I'm like, oh, all bets are off. I'm gonna fucking.
Are
grill
you
steak.
gonna make a decision based off like what the results are like? Like if it's like,
No.
significant change, you're doing amazing.
No, I think if we weren't in lockdown, I might wait to see what the results said. But because we're in lockdown and I need to do something different in my life to feel alive again, I think I might eat a steak.
So true.
Take it. I will say from other people who I've heard of like transitioning from either vegetarian or vegan back into eating meat, like take it slow.
I don't see. That's the thing. I don't believe that. I want to try to eat a whole steak. I want to cook a giant fucking steak and then just eat it.
You're gonna feel
You should
so
do-
bad.
You should do a porterhouse for 2. You should just get the whole thing down. See
I'm
if you
just
can
thinking
do
like
it.
a ribeye.
No, go all in. No sides.
We'll see. We'll see.
You're
I
gonna
don't
get
know.
so sick.
I'm thinking about it right now. I haven't made a final decision.
Can you do me a favor though? If and when you do break your veganism and eat meat, I want it to be documented. I want there to be a video of Gus returning to meat eating.
I'll do it. But I don't think I'll ever return back how I was before. I think moving forward, it'll just be a thing that maybe I eat once a week or twice a week. I can't imagine going back because I ate a lot of meat before.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine going back to eating that way again.
I just
By-
wish
Well,
tofu
by
was
saying-
better.
What?
Wait, what'd you say, Gav?
Tofu's better?
I wish tofu was better. Like I had a
Yeah.
tofu stir fry last night. Everything in it was great, like with all the veg and a bit of rice and all that. But the tofu just feels like I'm eating something that's just gone off. Or
They
like
gotta
the
season it right. That's I
Yeah,
think the key.
The preparation.
Yeah.
Really
texture
helps.
is just so freaking nasty to me.
I'll say
what-
this and sound like the crazy person that I am about things like tofu and health foods like that alike, is that there is, in my experience, a point where I don't know, you've detoxed enough from other food that food like tofu and vegetables you may not have normally eaten and stuff like that is as satisfying and good as the other food. And it kind of has this turn, I feel like. But I could be just the crazy person who eats healthy, and that's me trying to lie to myself. Who knows?
So,
I feel like I could absolutely switch to all that Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat and all that stuff. That stuff's great, but just like cubes of
Tofu,
tofu, I
also
can't
really depends.
handle it.
So what I do sometimes is if you put like a little bit of breading and put them in an air fryer, that way they get like a crisp layer on the outside. It's actually really good that way.
That would probably help me out a lot.
Mhm.
but I don't have an
I'll
air fryer.
once this is over, you can come over. I'll make you some fried tofu in my
You
air
mean
fryer.
Friday when all the restrictions are lifted again?
No.
Oh my
No.
god.
Probably not then. This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Purple. Technology can be amazing, and we've improved just about everything. Phones, cars, shopping. Yet mattresses have been more or less the same since the invention of sleep, but we deserve better, and finally the mattress has evolved thanks to Purple. The secret to Purple is the Purple Grid. It's a patented comfort technology that instantly adapts to your body's natural shape and sleep style. Purple is for every body, no matter which way you sleep. Purple is designed with over 2,800 open air channels and naturally temperature neutral gel. You'll never sleep too hot or too cold. The Purple mattress is soft where you want it, firm where you need it, and comfortably cool all over. It's truly a mattress that does it all. You can count on resting easy each and every night, year after year, because the ultra-durable Purple Grid won't sink or lose shape. Purple is so confident in what they do that every Purple mattress comes with free shipping and returns and a risk-free 100-night trial. Experience the next evolution of sleep. Go to purple.com/rooster. Use promo code rooster. And for a limited time, you'll get $150 off any Purple mattress order of $1,500 or more. That's purple.com/rooster. Promo code rooster for $150 off any mattress order of $1,500 or more. Terms apply.
No.
Guys, let's all
Okay.
go out.
I had Gus got to start the podcast frustrated. I get to come in the middle of the podcast frustrated.
I always come frustrated.
That's your secret. You're always frustrated. No, I go for runs a lot now because I can't go to the gym. So I'm stuck in the house. So the only way I can get outside and work out is just go for runs. And luckily I have access to places to run where I'm not going to be around people very much. Unfortunately, Austin is getting... Apparently, we thought 2 or 3 weeks of us actually abiding by strict quarantine was enough. And now everybody's going back outside, filling up parks and areas like that, and not abiding by social distancing.
Well, and they're going to open up all the freaking restaurants again on the 1st of May. Like, you can go into a restaurant and eat. That's insanity.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like 25% capacity, but apparently on May the 1st, the governor of Texas or whatever has just been like, all right, back to it. And it's like, we're just going to be right back here in like less than a month.
It's going to solve nothing.
I got takeout Thai food a week ago from a place that I really like. And when I went in to pick up my food, they were so serious about people not going in and eating there that they literally ripped out all of their booths and tables. Like there was nothing. The restaurant was a shell. It was the front counter, with the register, and the bar, which I guess obviously they couldn't rip out, and the kitchen. So it's like there was like all the booths had been ripped out of the floor and they were in a pile in the corner.
They must have been remodeling. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just cover them?
I don't know. Well, if they were remodeling, why wouldn't they throw them away? They're still there. They're just all piled in the corner.
I guess maybe just make a statement.
I got done with a run at lunch today, and I was exiting this hiking trail that I do up this uphill part. You have to get up to the street, and as I was going up, I noticed there was a group of people that were coming down as well, and I had a mask, and every time I ever see anybody in any of these times, I make sure I get 6 feet plus away, and so I go off into like the brush of the trail and get out of the way because these fuckers aren't going to get out of the way for me. And so I'm standing in the middle of the forest, about 7 feet away from them, watching them walk by. And they're just all staring at me with faces like I'm a crazy person standing there with my mask who got out of the way for them. And there was just this group, there's like 4 young boys, and they were clearly not related. They were clearly just friends out on a hike. They were all grouped up together. And they looked at me like I was an insane person. And I wanted to throw rocks at them. That's what I wanted to do.
I got a video from Wes and his girlfriend Alyssa were driving, I guess, near, I think it was Zilker Park. And he sent me a video via Instagram from his car of just, there were so many people in the park. And granted, a lot of them were spread out and stuff like that, but it was like packed. Like there was no parking anymore. It was like super crowded. And he was just like, what the fuck is going on? What is this? Like, are people just, oh, whatever, not, I guess I won't be affected by this or whatever it is. Like, I don't get it. So I don't understand how people don't.
Mike just sent me the list of stuff that's supposedly opening this Friday. So businesses that can open May 1st, all retail, restaurants, malls, and movie theaters limited to 25% occupancy. Museums and libraries, sole proprietors can return to work. Churches and places of worship can expand capacity from current order that expired April 30th. Outdoor sports, no more than 4 people playing together at a time. Salons, gyms, and bars do not open in phase 1. So phase 2, the earliest date is May 18th. It moves everything up to 50% occupancy.
But
that's
phase 2 is enough time ahead of phase 1 where the amount of cases will go up so sharply that phase 2 will be lockdown. Surely.
Also, like, wasn't this all based off, like, these places can start reopening, or these states can start reopening if they have like a certain amount of low cases? Like, I thought that was the situation.
That was supposed to be.
And apparently Texas has only tested 1% of people.
I think we're like a little over like 200,000 people tested.
So, God.
Well, don't worry. We're still going to be doing the podcast from our homes for a while.
We're still working from home.
when we did that last podcast that we walked out of, was it March 23rd? And Gavin and I stopped in the parking lot, and I said to Gavin, like, "Oh, it's going to be a while before we come back." I don't think even at that time I realized the gravity, like how long it would be that
Yeah.
we'd still be doing this. I thought at most it'd be a month or two, and that we'd be back there before too long. But
Yeah.
nope.
It just is such a ballsy move to me because this country has the most cases right now.
Number one,
Absolutely.
baby.
Oh, absolutely.
Number one, which
By far.
to be fair, it's a very high population country, so that's I guess to be expected. But also, there's no free healthcare. So
Right.
That's our right, and don't you dare take our lack of free healthcare away, you motherfucker.
So it's just like double weird to me that this is happening when you surely want to protect people's pockets and their health at the same time.
There's a user on the Austin subreddit. I don't know how often you guys read the Austin subreddit, but there's a user there I've been meaning to talk about for a couple of weeks. I think his username is Rational Anarchy, and every day he makes graphs and plots the numbers for coronavirus cases in Travis County, like the number of cases, the number of deaths, and like puts it all into graphs that way you can try to get your head around. Because you go to big news websites, you can see what it looks like for the country or for states, but he does it on a much more local level, so you can see
That's awesome.
exactly how it's affecting our community and the place where we live. And every day
really
he puts it out normally around this time, like around 6:30 or so. So you'll see like the results for that day and then how it relates to everything else. And he'll give like a short commentary on what the numbers mean and what his opinion of it is. It's obviously someone who has a background in statistics because it's every day. I'm always super fascinated to read it.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Do you know what company? Sorry, Barbara, go.
Oh no, you go for it, John.
I was just going to give a shout out to a company I really appreciate that has been making huge swathing changes to their product in order to promote stay at home and while allowing people to continue to use their product. It's Niantic with their support for Pokemon Go. They have been making huge interactivity changes to a product that was all about you getting outside, interacting with people, and grouping up together. And even they've been doing stuff like where they've been giving away free like items and stuff that you would normally have to go out to get in order to be able to play the game, like the Pokeballs and such. They have canceled events that they had already planned and that were like huge areas they make money. And even today, they've been talking about it for a while, but it finally launched today. A big thing of the game is raids, where you go to gyms out in the public, gather around the gym and fight a raid boss. And you have to be in close proximity to do that. Now they have remote raids, and you can buy a little raid pass that then, as long as you can see the raid in your game, you can join it remotely and you no longer have to do it. And in fact, even on Saturday, they had their community day, which is a day every single month that even in Austin, you will see droves of people going outside to play this game. They made the community day completely accessible and doable from inside your home.
Wow, that's awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, it's good on them.
I start to wonder too, like it's weird. I've been enjoying making certain content from home. Like it's been kind of nice in a way. And I wonder like even if Rooster Teeth is going to adjust the way we do things even when this whole quarantine situation is over.
Well, it was so cool. Achievement Hunter played, I think it was Warzone, with an esports player the other day. And that's always been accessible, but it was just like everyone's already at home, so everyone might just play with whoever. Right. I know the Valley folk had a podcast that they're getting excited about. They were posting pictures where it's just like a bunch of random people from a bunch of random channels.
I feel like, especially with Achievement Hunter, we never really collaborated with anyone unless they were in the room with us, or we went to them, or they came to us. But
right,
and now it's like an excuse to just like we've already done a couple of videos with the Yogs cast, and yeah, we had the super esports good player in Siege the other day.
You had Chilled and his buddies play kart with you guys, and then who is it? Tom showed up.
Fawkes just hopped in.
Oh, nice.
Which wouldn't have happened if you guys were doing it at the office. Like Tom wouldn't have just like popped into the office and started playing.
Yeah, because he just hopped into the lobby at first, and then we were like, "All right, we got to get him in the Discord so we can hear him." And he hopped into that, and he was just good to go.
Tom had a tweet the other day. I don't know if anybody else saw it. He tweeted a video of his Animal Crossing island that was covered in turnips because he bought 23 million bells worth of turnips. And,
how does he even get 23 million bells?
And just put them everywhere.
It's actually not that hard, Barbara, in later game.
play the stock market.
I can
Okay.
understand that many if you could do it all in one trip. But he must have made so many trips back and forth to get
Yeah.
money and like empty his pockets and then
You
go
can-
back and get more.
You can buy about 400 when you get the full 4 rows of your bag. You can get about 440,000 bells worth of turnips at a time.
Yeah, because each row carries 1,000.
Yes.
I
Am I doing
literally
that
just
right?
paid
Yeah.
off my home loan.
First
So-
one?
my
First one?
first one.
Yeah.
You got a
You got a
few more
ways
to
to
go.
go.
I know. No, I just took out the second loan for my expansion.
How long you just started playing this weekend, Barbara?
I just started playing. So I started playing on Tuesday. So I've been playing for about a week, but like on and off. Like I played for like an hour the first day, and then I didn't play again until the weekend. So it's been like on and off. But I am in it, and I texted you, Gus, and I'm
Yeah, I
just
was
like,
about to. Can I?
please,
Can I read the text that you sent me?
yeah.
So when was this? This is I believe this is Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Barbara texted, "Damn, Animal Crossing really does suck you in, huh?" And I wrote, "Yep, you caught up in it." And you wrote, "I played 6 hours today, getting my house delivered tomorrow. Finally, 6 hours in a day. That's pretty serious."
For Barb,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the thing is like if I get into a video game, the same thing happened with Skyrim. If I get into it, like I'm done. That's my life now. And that's I think why I don't play a lot of video games, because I know it'll just suck me in. And that's like the only thing I want to do ever. But and I was telling Gus too, this is like the perfect game to have right now.
Oh yeah, it couldn't have come out at a better time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect. It's getting me through this.
Griffin and Justin McElroy have a podcast they do called The Besties, which is
Oh
a
yeah,
Best
I like
Video
that
Game of
podcast.
the
Yeah.
Year monthly podcast, and they did one on Animal Crossing and the way that I think it was Griffin might have described it. He said it might go down in history as one of, if not the most important game releases ever.
Oh, absolutely.
It's such a nice thing to do in the morning. Like wake up, check your turnip prices, do a bit of.
Well, no, I get
gathering.
annoyed because Nook's Corner doesn't open till 8, so I'll get up and I'll be like, "Oh, no, fuck, I gotta
Yeah.
wait for the store to
Well,
open.
it's
I'm
so-
like
check my
the
turnip
door
prices."
some mornings.
Right,
come
I
on.
wait outside for the lights to turn on. Like, okay, good, I can go in now. And
Well, I
check my
was so
turnip
excited
prices.
for this weekend because I downloaded Animal Crossing, as I said, on Tuesday, and last week was so fucking busy for me. I never got a chance to play the game during the day. So every time I turned on the game, it was nighttime, which is fine. Like you could still do stuff and like progress. But I was like, I've never seen my island during the day. I'm so excited. And so I woke up on Saturday and I'm like, get the
But I was saying this on the whatever the other podcast that we're doing is called. That's the same as this one.
Stuck at home.
That
Oh.
the moment you get the construction ability, it's too much power for me. Like
Terraforming, you mean?
I am not a designer. I'm not an architect. I immediately like botched my island. I was cutting holes and shit and got cliffs in dumb places.
I do have a
And I
question
hate
for
the
you.
fact that you can't move bridges. I want to just move them. I don't want to like demolish them and then wait a day to build another one. So everything is worked around my shitty original placements. And it takes like a day at a time to move one building. So like
Right.
throughout the week, I'm like, I'll move this and this, and that would get me to Thursday. And then I can do all these parts. My island, I suck at that game, but it's good. I like
Yeah,
having it every day. It's great.
I loaded once I got the terraforming. I loaded it up. I erased one little square of cliff, and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. That's enough.
I have completely terraformed my entire island to make way for a plan I have of converting my island into a very specific theme.
Oh,
Terraforming would be a lot more fun if there was a different button for add and remove.
Correct.
Instead of like, I'm building a cliff, I cut a hole in the floor. Shit, fill that back up. I've boxed myself into a small cube. Damn it. I'm like 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
No matter what I do in that game, because I can't figure out where he's going to decide to apply the freaking A button.
I have a question.
It just needs a reticle. It just needs a reticle.
does.
I'm going to grab a beer. I can still hear you. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question about this that again, like this is my first time ever playing Animal Crossing,
Should
and
we
so
talk shit about Gus? He can't.
he can
reply
still
to us.
hear us.
Yeah, but he
can still
can't
hear us.
reply.
I like us, and I don't want to talk bad about him.
I
us
like him too. I think he's.
But let's pretend that we were talking shit when he comes back.
Oh, what a twat!
Boo! He's got ears.
What are you saying, Barbara?
I was gonna say this is my first time ever playing Animal Crossing, and I was telling Gus this, and it's like it's slightly frustrating that there's things that you just need to know or like look online to actually find out in terms of learning things about the game. And so like I feel like I constantly have questions. Like, for example, when you build stuff, like I built my house in a place, or I guess I put my tent down when I first moved to my island, and now it's a house. Can you move that at any point? Can you
Yes.
move people's houses?
Eventually.
Okay.
There's only
What
one
about
thing
like
on the
plants
island.
and stuff?
Yes, the plants you can move. There's only one thing on the island you will never be able to move. Or actually, I guess almost like two things. One is you cannot move your community center once you place it down. And two is you cannot move where your rivers enter into your island.
Can you move
Those-
the airport?
You also
Oh, airport you can't either.
Okay.
you also cannot move rocks. You can destroy them and they repop back up in a random place, but you can't find a perfect placement for a rock.
Someone on the subreddit of the Animal Crossing subreddit, which is a delightful place to go to if you ever just need to scroll
bet.
through some nice stuff. Someone on their island had created this little walled off section with little paths that had one slots open for the 6 rocks you have on your island, and he had posted because he had finally just now it had randomized to finally putting his last 6th rock into one of those spots. So he had all 6 rocks next to each other.
But
'Cause
don't
when
you
you
have to
destroy it,
destroy all
the
9,
island then
like,
goes
3
and
by 3
randomizes it.
spots?
Oh.
Like there's only like it has certain conditions it spawns in, so you have to like take away that on the entire rest of your island so that it has to spawn in that spot.
They must have. It was a really
Yeah.
it was an amazing thing to see.
I'm excited for tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about it even though it's not out yet. But we have this show called RT Inbox that we do every week. And we were trying to think of ways to like change it up because there's a lot, obviously, like even the RT podcast is an example, but a lot of shows that are just 4 cameras in a box with people wearing headphones talking into a microphone that like might start to get a little, you know, you've seen a
Repetitive.
lot of it. And hey,
First time you've seen that tonight?
Yeah,
Putting
exactly.
my arm around my friend Gavin.
We need it. So we're talking about doing RT
Arm around
Inbox
his pants.
in a video game, and I think we're gonna try doing RT Inbox in Animal Crossing tomorrow. So we're gonna see how that works out. I'm
Okay,
super
yeah.
excited.
I have some severe anxiety about this
Why?
because we're going to be shooting on my island,
Oh, your
Uh-huh.
island's gonna get fucked up.
and the people who are in the episode I don't trust completely.
You trust
Well,
me?
as long as they're not best friends, there's very little they can do, right?
There's plenty you can do without being a best friend that I
Like
don't
what?
want them.
Yeah, tell me what I could do.
You no
What could I take from you? What
Like they
could I-
can't dig up stuff.
no.
Could I get Could I get bells from you?
Yes. How about this? You don't
Heist.
fuck up my island. I'll make you guys rich by the end of the episode.
Yes, I promise.
Because all 3 of you have not progressed very far in the game, so I could give you a fortune to you right now
Yes,
if
please.
you don't fuck up my island.
Deal. Handshaking.
Yeah,
John,
handshake.
what are you actually worried about them doing?
Listen, I spend a lot of time on my gardens, and I've got some flower shit going on in there that I'm very proud of, and I do not need them to fuck up. Okay.
Well, they can't dig them up. Are you worried about them like bashing the petals off?
Can they
Yeah.
run over all
They
your
can
flowers?
run over them. They can pick the flowers. I don't need them to do that. There's a lot of stuff in there that I need to keep going as it is.
Well, here's what you do. Before they arrive, build a nice fence around it.
Just fence in everything that
Yeah,
I
like-
want.
Just fence out of the airport, fence in a small path they can take to where you're going to film, and that's it. Like they restrict them, to like corral them to a very small area, and that's all
Cats
they can
go in
get
places.
access to.
They can steal the fruit as much as they want. I don't use the fruit for anything at this point.
What fruit do you have?
I have all. So,
Sweet.
but I have I got some fun things planned for you guys. I think you're gonna have fun. I'm just worried.
I'm so
about-
excited. I haven't been this excited about a video game in like so long. So I'm super excited.
It's a great game. It's so good.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a random tangent, but I wanted to bring it up because I have a picture I wanted to show you. So I did something today, and I'm not advising it for this, but I had to go into the office to pick up mail that I accidentally had delivered there. We have a process at Rooster Teeth if you have to go in. We're not supposed to, but if you have to for emergency reasons, there's like a whole communication process. I was there for like 5 minutes tops. Just want to say that. But I went to the
licked everything.
office. I went to the office to pick up some stuff, including some mail for inbox. But I took a picture in our bungalow. I have no idea who did this or why it is happening. But Shane, I sent you the picture. If you want to pull it up.
Oh, I want to see this.
I'm concerned already.
This was our office.
What am I looking at?
Our corner was completely emptied of any furniture, and there was just a bust with a shirt on in the dark in our office.
Why?
That is some true detective sociopathic shit.
It scared the shit out of me, and I was like, I don't know if this is a prank or if someone was filming something in here, but
It's like
it was concerning.
It's like when you get a shirt in Animal Crossing, instead of putting it in storage, you put it on display, and it's just out there. It's like a disembodied torso wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but it was just funny to me. I wanted to show you guys. I
have a neighbor in Animal Crossing that kind of terrified of. He has a problem where he has fleas on him a lot, and I always have to clean fleas off of him.
Yeah.
And he always
I don't have fleas yet. I need to visit your island.
Oh yeah, he's barreled is covered in them. And he always talks about how he talks to the bugs that live in his floor. And so finally the other day I was like, well, I got to go see what his house looks like, right? And he was finally home. He wasn't out walking around. He was home, so I could go into his house. I walked in, and his walls are covered in closed circuit televisions with security camera footage all around the island. And he's got a security camera over his door watching his house. And he's got like a server rack in the corner with a desk with a computer on it. Like, what is this guy doing here?
All right, when this podcast is over, I need a dodo code because I got to see this.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Could you have actual people living on your island?
Yeah, you get neighbors.
But like,
they're AI though.
Oh, they're AI. Yeah, I meant like you can't inhabit someone's island
as
a player.
You can if you have another account on the same Switch.
Gotcha.
So Trevor could have a home on your island.
Gotcha. Okay.
But he would have to play on your same physical Switch. It's not like he could play.
Yeah, and I'm not letting anyone else. I'm playing on that Switch. He has his own. Although he's not an Animal Crossing guy. I asked if he was gonna play it or download it, but it's like not really his style of game.
I utilized some of my social reach to expedite a process in my Animal Crossing island this weekend on Friday. Yes. Talking about my flowers, I was growing them all over the island in big patches, and then once I got terraforming, I had a very specific plan of what I want to turn my island into, and I needed all of my flowers to move to another part of the island and to kind of consolidate them so that I might work on other parts of the island, because you can't terraform around the flowers and everything like that. But I had so many, and Gavin, you talk about how frustrating it is to do certain things in the game. To like dig and transport flowers is just as bad as terraforming. So I asked people in my Twitch chat to come, and I whittled it down to some regulars in my Twitch chat because you have to make them best friends to allow them to do digging.
You got to trust them.
So I brought 7 people from my chat onto the island and then just let them go and do yard work on my island.
Oh my God.
Half an hour. They did it so fast. It was so good.
That's awesome.
You dropped a bag of bells for each of them.
I don't think I paid them anything.
You paid them in exposure.
I think they brought gifts for me.
Oh, this is the worst.
What's this backwards?
You're running a sweatshop over there, John.
Basically.
In a recent video, Fiona dressed me like a duck.
And you were still wearing that in that video you just put out on Twitter of you whiffing it.
I feel like everyone has caught so many tarantulas. I've seen, I think, 3 ever, and I've been playing for like a solid month, and I've only caught one. The rest I just mess up.
I think they appear between 7 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
How do you? Because I saw one tarantula at my island once. How are you? Is there a way to get them to come, or like something?
Yeah, you jack them off.
Gosh.
I don't believe there's a way on your island to make them spawn. On certain islands that you go visit with your mystery tours, there's a way to make it happen. But on your island, it's just they spawn randomly out in the open.
Because I remember, I think Elise was talking about this, how her and James will play together and they'll have date nights where they go to Tarantula Island. Yes, and I think she said something about how like there's no trees or like all the trees are chopped or something. Like there's some
tree.
It's random to get to Tarantula
It's
Island.
quite rare, I think. Quite low percentage of getting that.
I think it's a 2% chance to visit
2%
Tarantula
chance.
Island. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've never
Okay.
gone. I've never found it.
It's fun. All the islands that you go visit, I realize if you go to the Wikipedia, they have nicknames for all these islands, and there's like things that you can accomplish on these islands specifically that you wouldn't even think that you should do when you go to them. That island is good for.
I have no idea how like breeding the different flowers works, but I did wake up today and I had 2 different types of blue flower, which I was excited about. I've just been like shoving flowers near each other and watering them, but I'm not sure like which ones make
Mashing
which
the flowers.
colors.
Be
Yeah.
blue.
But got some blue ones, so I was like, oh sweet. I don't know what I did, but
You did something right, yeah.
I did something.
There's also like, I wonder with you guys, is it something that you welcome when there's a person playing a game for the first time and they like come to you for questions and advice? Like, is that annoying or is that cool?
With a game like this, I'm happy to give out tips.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Because I'm like, if I ask a question or like want a tip on how to do something, am I
that-
bothering you?
No, I've been watching even like tip videos on YouTube. I'm pointing to my TV because I sit here in my bed playing the game while I watch Animal Crossing videos. But like I wanted to get, because I want to use flowers a lot in this project I have planned for my island. And so I watched a video on like best practices for getting those crossbreeds to get specific flowers. Because you have to, especially like the roses, to get all the way down to like a blue rose or even the gold roses, you have to do quite a few things to get there.
Gotcha. I also
Blue
want to.
rose.
I would hate to miss bringing this up on the podcast because I feel like I'll never get a chance to talk to Gavin about this unless it's on the podcast. But Gavin, you are now watching Love Island and Too Hot to Handle. Please tell me your thoughts.
Love Island Series 1, I finished it. I thought
Record timing.
I thought it was brilliant. I was watching like 3 episodes a day. It just reminded me of Big Brother, except they leave all the shagging sounds in.
Yeah.
Nice to hear a Scouse accent again. That
Yeah.
thing is mental. Too Hot to Handle, I think, is just wank.
It's so I at
I think
first
it's shit.
So Too Hot to Handle is a show on Netflix where the premise is it's almost like Love Island, where you just have a bunch of like good-looking, sexy plastic surgery singles on an island. And the difference is with Too Hot to Handle, every time they have any sort of like sexual interaction, whether it's kissing, having sex, or even masturbating, they lose money from the pot of what the winner gets at the end. So it's like you fuck over everybody by fucking each other. And at first I was like, this is a really interesting premise. This is going to be juicy as fuck. But it's just like, especially compared to Love Island and having watched Love Island for so many seasons at this point, it's like pales in comparison to Love Island.
It's just too gimmicky, and they're trying to clearly force, like, it just feels kind of wooden, and everyone's saying like little tagline things all the time, like that they've been fed by a producer, or it's clearly like take 3 of them saying it. Like, I'm not buying any of the interviews, and I guess it's not enough episodes to get truly invested. I kind of got bored after about episode 4. I'll probably finish it still, but because what
What else you got going on?
It's also
But,
like I think it's only 6 or 8 episodes. It's pretty short. But it's like it's good garbage TV, but like if you're gonna pick one or the other, Love Island is so much better. It's like leagues better than Too
also,
Hot
I
to
don't
Handle.
really understand why the super attractive Instagram model girl keeps going for this kind of doofy looking Australian
really
guy.
weird looking like she's like obsessed with him.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of young and funny, but I feel like she could get anyone she wants, and that's who she goes for. It was very
Did you
confusing.
just say you don't understand how the hot model girl is going for the goofy foreign dude who's funny? Did you just say that?
I actually did though, because you gotta.
Damn, fucking got him.
Yeah. Yeah, how does that happen?
You
Wow.
went for a pot to call black.
I get it now.
I guess it's
But
different.
you can
though,
see what I
because-
mean, right?
Yeah, well, it's different because the girl you're talking about on the show, her name's Francesca, I believe, right? Yeah, Francesca.
Yeah.
It's like a different, like she's clearly someone, and she even has said it herself. Like she's very kind of materialistic, shallow in that sense. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. I don't want to put anyone down just based off like what little we know of them, but she is that kind of personality where you don't expect her to necessarily go for people with a good personality or sense of humor, but maybe more like people she finds attractive. I'm trying to say this in a nice way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only reality I've gone full curmudgeonly old man with reality TV that it just makes me angry at how these people act. You talk about like seeing people like say the same tagline 3 times in a row in order to get the right take. So this is good TV. It just angers me now. The one reality series in the past, like almost like 2 or 3 years that has not upset me other than the Great British Bake Off was Terrace House. And that's because it's just a romance reality show with manners.
It's true.
I
I've watched
couldn't
Terrace
get
House in
into
a
it.
while.
It just seemed. I watched a couple episodes. It just seems so boring.
Terrace House is a little slow and like not as dramatic as a lot of reality shows I'm used to.
It's like real people, not these caricatures that
I need screaming and drama.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much.
Gavin, you should watch Love Island UK version, season 3 or 4 next.
Yeah, I just started 2, which you said was shit, or Jeff said was boring.
I think Jeff said it was shit, but season
Did you not-
3 and 4.
Did you not watch 1 and 2?
No, I was like, let me start at a random one. Because I feel like certain shows get better over time. So I feel like watching the first season of something, there's like some things are still working out, some things that get better.
See, I feel like with shows like that, shows get tired over time, and usually the earlier ones are the cream.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see. I've got to watch all of. How many seasons are there?
Oh, well, I don't know, but there's also like the Australian version. I think there's now a US version of Love Island, and I think that's it. So I think there's 3 different places.
See, I have an issue with and it's been the same way the entire time since I've lived here. I have an issue with how American TV is edited when I already have seen the same show in English. Like I'm fine. It's like it's too like.
Well, it's like Too Hot to Handle versus Love Island. Like they're still dramatic and have that kind of thing, but Too Hot to Handle is very clearly like, oh, this is an American TV show where they're just like, let me build up the music for like 6 minutes before revealing the answer to this question.
Which is fine in a ton of shows that don't have a British equivalent. But when I've just watched the English one, I find myself just like, oh, get on with it. We don't need a preview. After 5 minutes since the last preview, we don't need a preview of what's coming up next.
Isn't
they
it
have
example
previews
that
in the middle of the damn show for the same show.
The worst for me with reality TV shows is when they go to commercial, they show like a preview of what's coming up. Then when they come back, they do a review of what you just saw right before the commercial. It's like, I just saw this. I don't need to see the last 2 minutes again. Like I've really thought about with some shows going through and doing an edit where I tape the whole show and then cut out all of the coming up and all of the recap. That we just see like how long of an actual hour show, how much do you actually get content wise? Because I think it's like 25 minutes.
You know what show doesn't do that? Terrace House.
I say Love Island.
I will say this. The one downside of Terrace House is the same thing if you're a subs not dubs with anime, is that you can't multitask with Terrace House. You have to sit there and watch the screen to read all the dialogue.
Just learn Japanese. God.
I'd love to.
Just do that in quarantine, right?
Yeah.
Just learn Japanese.
Just watch enough Terrace House to where you'll understand it.
Yeah.
Have Barbara, have you and Jeff done a reality TV based podcast yet?
No, but we were talking about it. And it's so funny because I brought up an idea to him where we would do a live stream or a podcast called Quarantine, and it would be about reality shows. But literally the same day I pitched that to him, Jessica Vasami also pitched a show called Quarantine. And it's a great idea. So I think we might discuss hers a little bit more. But I would love to do some type of reality show podcast. And we could have you on if we talk about Love Island or Too Hot to Handle.
I mean, I think it'll get like 16 viewers, but it'll be fun to do anyway.
Well, maybe it'll hit a different audience as well.
Jessica Vasami has been my like Netflix party buddy. We've been watching stand-up specials together on Netflix party.
Wait, what? What about your friend Barbara?
Well, yeah, let's do it. It's super easy.
This is awkward. Hey, Gus, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
I'm kind of. Let's all do something together. I think we should revisit that idea that we brought up mid podcast about doing like a movie club.
We've got
Well, I just I've been rewatching Schitt's Creek with my girlfriend. She'd never seen it. Talking about shows that everyone should be recommended to watch. It's one of the most wholesomely written, funny shows ever.
Oh, it's so great.
And also rewatching it the second time through, I realized it's seriously like I love it that all the hot people introduced in the show are all dudes. It's not a bunch of like sexualized women, like a lot of like shows where it's just like the people that are introduced that are hot are all the girls, and it's a bunch of doofy boys. But we're getting to the point where we're getting the end of season 5, which is all that Netflix has. But thanks to the fact that I have a AT&T TV subscription, I can watch the new season that was just out, and I don't have to wait for it to come to Netflix like forever from now. So we're excited to do that.
Yeah. How convenient. Thanks, AT&T. You make consuming content so easy on the internet.
Yes. I can now get my food pellet from the overload.
How wonderful for all consumers everywhere.
Yes.
Someone in chat right now, who is this? Edward Porter says that we should have. They suggested we have Elise come on the RT podcast, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about that until now. We could have, with all the different collaborations we're doing everywhere, we could have like people from Funhouse on, or anywhere else remotely.
Tons of people on. We actually have been doing that with Always Open, not to plug my own show on this show, but we had an episode come out today for first members with Travis McElroy, who I know a ton of our audience are familiar with, the McElroy brothers, and it was amazing. John was on as well. And of course, Mariel.
I loaded up to see if Beryl was home, and there's a balloon. It just came right across the screen.
Oh, shoot that shit down.
Yeah. Beryl is not home. Otherwise, I would have shown you.
What are your turnip prices?
Right now, I think it's like 84. It was very
shit.
low. It was very low.
I shot down a balloon today, and the item that came out was a do-it-yourself plan for a bamboo doll. And I looked at my app to see what's a bamboo doll. It's just a stalk of bamboo. It's all it is. Cut to like doll size.
I want to show you all
the saddest toy ever.
My Prison Mike cosplay.
Oh my god, I love it.
Excellent.
I think Chad is mad at me. They want to hear your movie club
suggestion.
Pick.
What are we watching?
What should we watch for next week, boys?
Should we pick it right now, or I feel like it's something we need to think about?
Aliens.
The second?
Yeah.
No, let's think about something that's not like a sequel or anything like that. Like something we can watch
Alien.
fresh.
You can watch there's a bunch of movies that are out there that were supposed to be in theaters. Like Invisible Man was good. You go watch that.
Yeah, you got to pay $20 to watch that.
Sorry.
I don't want to like give people an assignment for the podcast that they have to pay $20 to do.
What if I spend $20 and then expense it to you? Because you made me watch it.
Or you could pay $20 and then you're an executive producer.
Dude, you see how executively I produced the last week's post show?
It was amazing. Oh, right. We talked about that in the post show. People who don't watch the post show might be confused.
A lot of people are correcting you, John, about the bamboo doll. Apparently,
I'm remembering what they're talking about. I didn't put it together. I saw on an island. A little doll comes out. It's creepy as hell.
Oh, there you go.
I saw it on Matt's island. I went to Matt Bragg's island.
So you just looked at the icon of it and then put it in storage?
I'm done.
I didn't even make it. You have to make it, and so I just looked at my app, the little your little app in the game, and I just all it shows is just a cut piece of bamboo, and it says bamboo doll.
Maggie is in chat, and she suggested for our movie that we watch 17 again, which is I really like that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, Matthew Perry,
one, right?
Yeah, Matthew Perry. I love that.
Perry. I'd watch that. Gus?
Yeah. Gus, would you watch 17 again?
Really? There's so many movies like that. We're going to watch that, or we're going to watch 13 Going on 30, or we're going to watch Big.
Yes! All of these movies.
I vote Big.
I'd watch Big. I haven't seen Big in a while. Although it should probably be something new, for us to actually discuss.
I was listening to Kumail Nanjiani and his wife Emily V. Gordon have a podcast that they started at the beginning of this quarantine called Staying In with Kumail and Emily, and it's a wonderful podcast. If I can make a recommendation for a podcast other than the RT podcast or any of our other podcasts that are on our network, and for some reason, they were talking about Tom Hanks, and they've divided our timeline now into the middle point is when everyone woke up one day and Tom Hanks and what's his wife's name? Wilson?
Rita Wilson.
Rita Wilson. They were tested positive for coronavirus, and that there's now it's pre-Hanks Wilson is the before time, and post-Hanks Wilson is where we're living in now. And in talking about that, they brought up Big, and Kumail talked about how he wants the movie that continues on the story of the woman that Tom Hanks romance. After that moment that he turns into a little boy and she has to deal with the fact that she had sex with
a little boy.
him.
Yeah.
And
Spoilers!
It's from like 1986. Okay? I'm going to spoil any movie that's that old, okay?
It might even be older than that. You see.
And
86
like
sounds
just
right.
follow her having to deal with that mental process.
Oh, it's 88. So you're
All right. Well, we should be wrapping up soon because there is another live show that's going to follow us here.
But
Oh,
how
right,
many
that's
years? How many years would she have to wait again so she could bang him again?
I think it was 5 or something like that. Wasn't he like 13?
Legally? Yeah, probably like 5. I think he was 12.
On that note, I want to say thank you to all our first members for supporting us and allowing us to provide our TTV free for everyone. And also, don't forget, we're live every day. Check out the schedule, see what's next. I think Carrie and Issa are following us up right now here. As soon as we're offline here, as soon as we take RT Podcast offline, they're going to follow us up immediately. So we got to go. That way they can get started. So stick around. We're still live. Podcast is ending, but someone else is going to be here in just a minute. So thanks a bunch for the support, and we'll see you guys again next week.
bye, everyone.
Bye.